What was it about us? What was it about us that drove our narcissistic parents and their enablers to ostracize us, to scapegoat us, to cast us as misfits, as crazy, as losers? And when I say what drove them, I use that word extremely carefully. They were driven, and still are. Driven. Driven to ravage our very souls. I've heard so many reasons why they were driven to do this. And I'm not here to diminish the reasons I've heard. I think there's truth in everything I've heard. But I want to tell you why I believe they were driven, compelled, obsessed with casting you and casting me as a misfit. It's because, guess what? We didn't fit. We knew inside of us, I'm talking as a child, as a young child, barely old enough to walk. Yet we knew something inside of us. We knew what reality was. We were at least starting to understand it. There was, I don't know how to phrase this, but there was truth bubbling inside of us, and it was manifesting itself through us. And these individuals with unchallenged and unlimited power over us, that we call parents, were void, empty of any such reality inside themselves. You see, a narcissist creates his own reality, and it's all external. Narcissistic personality disordered people live in a little dream fantasy world of their own. And that little spark of truth inside you challenged that. And it challenges that. And so many of you, and you can count me in that boat, have had entire family systems turn on you because of this. I know it hurts. Unless you've experienced it, I've said this before, but unless a person's experienced it, they don't have a clue what we're talking about. And I'd like to say this as a side note. If you are seeking therapy for narcissistic abuse, go online. I'm not going to talk about this now, but do some research. Go online and do plenty of research with respect to finding the right therapist for this type of abuse. We're talking about ambient abuse, spiritual abuse, and it's extremely subtle. Your therapist needs to know what he's talking about. I think that's the worst part of narc abuse. Now that I've been thinking about it for about, 2.5 years, 3 years maybe, which isn't long. I went through more than half my life not even knowing what on earth I was dealing with. I think that's the most traumatic part of the abuse, is the abandonment. The fact that this, quote, family who creates this illusion of love and care toward you doesn't give a damn about you. And the realization of that, I think that's the most traumatic part of narc abuse. That sense of loneliness and abandonment. We were ostracized, not by anything we did, but we were ostracized because we recognized, acknowledged, and did our best to follow the reality, the light, and the truth inside of us. And you may be saying, this is why I did this tonight, because I want to tell you this. You might be saying, dude, I've lost everything. I don't have one family member that I can talk to on a heart-to-heart basis. Nobody. I think there's a lot of you out there. Such is the dilemma of us scapegoats, us misfits. But I want to encourage you. And you may be thinking, how on earth, and I don't blame you for thinking this either, but how on earth can we find any encouragement knowing that our whole family basically kicked us out on the curb and left us to fend for ourselves? Well, I want to encourage you with this fact. The very particle of life and light in you that compelled them and drove them to destroy you, first of all, that's the very part of you that's going to lift you up out of the gutter, if you are in the gutter. And secondly, that's the part of you that I pray to God you begin to embrace about yourself, your love of truth. You still have yourself. You still possess yourself. And I want you to look at your narcissistic enablers. I want you to look at your siblings and cousins and aunts and uncles that are still spellbound by the lies and the illusions of your abusive parent. And I want to ask you this. Do you think they have possession of themselves? Of their own souls? I can't answer for them, but I'm pretty confident most of them do not. Those people who supported and enabled and continue to support and enable the men and women who abused you have no sense of truth. They have lost themselves. They are living a lie. They are living a lie. They are following a lie. And though it may have cost you everything, it may have cost you your health even. But you have done the right thing. You have chosen to follow the truth that's within you. You cannot put a price on that. Thank you.